What's going on internet, and welcome back to another video. This week I've got a pretty cool one. It is the video of the Daydreamers project I wrapped up. I was there for about 3 or 4 weeks working on a really big mural for a outdoor dining area that was 20 by 5 meters, and then a smaller mural for the front of shop that faced out to the street. So there's quite a lot in this video, lots of commentary, lots of little snippets, lots of time lapse, all the good stuff. Put quite a lot of effort into the edit on this one, so grab a beer or a coffee, sit back and enjoy.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the mural. We're on week 2 here. Last week I got down over a couple of days just this little elephant section, this first area of the mural, and then we had some painters come in and actually paint the entire wall in the priming layer and the base layer. And the reason why we did that is it was a lot more time efficient to get a group of guys to come in and smash that out in a day, as opposed to me having to do it over a couple, especially with drying times. It's really cold this time of year. So it just made it a lot easier to get a group of painters in to do that. So this week I've just started to put in my grid on this next little section of the artwork, just using a 2x2 grid to keep things in perspective and things to scale whilst I'm working. And then I'm essentially just using coloured pastel to sketch in my art, and then just painting straight over the top of that. So I've got a little bit of a workbench here set up just to make it really easy to lay out all my paint, keep my laptop out, keep everything nice and clean off the ground. Using a ladder, I've been using a ladder for a couple of days. Hopefully going to get some scaffold today or tomorrow, just to make things easier when I'm getting up to the higher sections of the artwork, because it's a little bit hard to sort of balance on the top of the ladder and keep a steady hand. So that will be nice. Today I'm hoping to knock out maybe 1 or 2 more of these little illustrations and sort of just take it from there. Been battling the weather a bit. It's winter here in Melbourne, super cold mornings, got frost on the wall. The skies have actually been surprisingly clear. Hopefully this stays up and I can make some good progress. But for now that's it. I'm going to get back to it and see you in a bit.
So the way this project came about was pretty much thanks to social media and Instagram. They found my account, liked a couple of bits and pieces, and I checked out theirs, saw that they were a local coffee shop opening in my hometown. And from there, I sent them a direct message just letting them know that I was a local artist, and if they needed any artwork for the coffee shop, then they should just reach out and let me know. So from there, they sort of said that they wanted to get some quotes done for some different things. I was expecting some canvases for more like inside the restaurant, that sort of thing. But they came back with wanting a quote for a 20 by 5 meter wall, which, to say the least, I was pretty surprised at the time. I've never done anything that large before, and it seemed like a really cool project. I was a little bit nervous at the start, mainly because we were heading into winter here in Melbourne, and the wall is obviously an exterior wall, so it makes it rather hard to paint. Obviously, if it's raining, having to deal with things like drying times and just high winds and that sort of thing. In the end, it actually proved to be rather achievable. We were pretty lucky with the weather. It was sunny most days, and the days that did rain, I at least got half a day in. I think I only got rained out 2 total days, like full days. But yeah, the sort of reason why I'm telling you this is just to show that the work doesn't always come to you. Sometimes you have to reach out and look for the work yourself. So who knows, they might not have ever fully gone through with contacting me if I hadn't reached out to them first. But a simple message is essentially what got me the job. So my process for the most part was once we got down the base coat and the base layers, I just worked from the right to the left side, and I just took each sort of circle as they came. There was a long sort of looping line that comes through, but I left that to the very end. And I just basically used my 2x2 grid and pencil and pastel to sketch in the different sections, and then just worked my way across the composition, really, blocking in different areas. I would try and block in the circle, and then I would work on the detail from the previous one whilst the circle was drying, because most of the time circles took 2 coats to get good coverage. So I'd paint a circle, I'd go back to the previous circle, I'd finish out that illustration, and then by the time I was done that circle was ready to go. So I'd move on to that illustration, and I would start the next circle. And that's sort of how I bounced my way across the whole composition. As you can see here, I use brushes over cans. I am a more traditional painter, that's where my background is, so I'm a lot more comfortable with brushes than cans. I still do use cans from time to time, and I would love to improve my can control, but for a project that's sort of this large and this detailed, I would much rather use brushes. And just using paint pots, pretty basic, and then using just little plastic takeaway containers to sort of mix my paint and just make things a little bit easier to have sort of my different gradients of grey, my different shades of different tones, and just keep things sort of nice and easy while I'm up on the scaffold. I sort of spoke on the weather a little bit already, but it did get a little bit challenging when you saw me set up the scaffold a little bit earlier, when I was working on the highest sort of rank of the scaffold, because there was only maybe half a meter the board was to stand on, and then I had to stand on top of that and balance and try and paint at the same time whilst it was windy. Probably wasn't the safest, but we got it done. As I said earlier, this is by far the biggest mural or piece of artwork that I've ever approached and completed, but to be honest, I wasn't too worried about it even before I started, because I sort of saw this design and this composition as I think there's about 10 or 15 sort of smaller illustrations, which is all things that I've done before in that size. So it was just about sort of working my way across and doing these smaller illustrations, sort of taking my time with it, and yeah, it worked out really well. Something else to just quickly note, this is actually going to be the last video probably that I will shoot on my current but soon to be old camera, which is a Canon 60D. I've had this camera for about 4 or 5 years now, I think, and I'm jumping on the Sony bandwagon. I'm going to be grabbing a Sony A7 Mark II, I think, next week. And the main reason that I'm doing this is, well, there's quite a few reasons. I'm jumping from a crop sensor on the 60D to a full frame on the Sony. But the main reason I'm sort of switching is because I love the sort of mirrorless form factor that they can create with these cameras. They're so much smaller, so much more lightweight, especially when it comes to traveling. I really hate lugging my 60D around, so I'm really looking forward to having something of a smaller form factor. But this is an upgrade that I've wanted to do for years, so I'm really excited. But beyond that, beyond this video, I've got the front mural video coming up. That'll probably come out next week. Trying to sort of get on a bit of a weekly posting schedule. Can be a little bit hard because sometimes my sort of work takes longer than a week, and that sort of can throw things out of whack. But trying to post sort of more regularly, and then starting in about 2 weeks, I'm doing a Bendigo open air art gallery, which is going to be a really fun project. We're going to be painting on these big plywood sort of boards that are then going to be mounted onto this metal racking system, as opposed to painting on walls. So really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And for this video, I think I'm going to pretty much leave it there. Like I said, I'll catch you in one of the upcoming ones, and I'll let the tunes ride the rest of this one out.